The Titanic's last hero, the baker who refused to die final. Part. In the early hours of April 15, 1912, the Titanic was dying. The front of the ship disappeared beneath the freezing Atlantic while the enormous stern rose high into the air. People clung to railings, praying for rescue as the lights flickered across the dark ocean. Then, with a deafening roar, the ship broke apart and finally vanished beneath the waves. Thousands of people were suddenly thrown into water that was close to -2 degrees Celsius 28 degrees Fahrenheit. Although it was salt water and had not completely frozen, the temperature was cold enough to cause hypothermia within minutes. Most people in the water could not survive for long. Charles Joughin remained calm until the very last second. According to his later testimony, he stayed on the stern as long as possible before entering the sea. Instead of jumping in panic, he described stepping into the freezing water as the ship disappeared beneath him. Now surrounded by darkness and icy waves, Charles searched for anything that could help him survive. Nearby, dozens of desperate survivors struggled to stay above the surface. Eventually, Charles reached the overturned collapsible lifeboat bay, one of the Titanic's emergency boats that had floated upside down after the sinking. Several survivors were already clinging to it. Charles grabbed the side of the boat and held on with all his strength. Minutes felt like hours. Finally, another lifeboat returned and rescued those who had survived in the freezing water. Against all expectations, Charles was among them. His survival amazed many people. Most victims exposed to the icy Atlantic died very quickly, yet Charles survived with only minor physical injuries. Historians continue to debate exactly why he lasted so long. Some suggest his calm behavior reduced heat loss. Others point to his physical condition and years of experience working at sea. His own testimony also mentioned drinking alcohol before entering the water, though modern medical experts generally do not believe alcohol protects people from hypothermia and may actually increase the risk. After the disaster, Charles returned to work as a baker and continued his life at sea. Unlike many famous survivors, he rarely sought attention for what he had done. Yet his actions during the Titanic's final hours earned him lasting respect. The sinking of the Titanic claimed the lives of more than 1,500 people, making it one of the deadliest peacetime maritime disasters in history. The tragedy also changed international maritime safety forever. New rules required enough lifeboats for everyone on board, continuous radio monitoring, and better iceberg patrols in the North Atlantic. More than a century later, people still remember Charles Joughin, not because he was rich or powerful, but because he chose courage over fear. He fed hungry survivors, helped passengers escape, threw floating chairs into the sea, stayed at his post until the end, and somehow survived one of history's greatest disasters. His story reminds us that true heroes are often ordinary people who make extraordinary choices when the world around them is falling apart. Charles Joughin was more than the Titanic's baker. He became one of the last heroes to leave the ship, and his legacy continues to inspire people around the world.